Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is M.Reski Novardana. I am from PBA4 English Education Department, Alauddin State University of Makassar. So, first of all, let's say thanks to your presence of Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, who has given us health and opportunities, so that I can still carry out the assignment given by lectures, especially regarding about general rules about what stress. So immediately we go into the core of the discussion. There are some parts that we need to understand in the word stress. The first is two syllables nouns and adjective. Usually in some mention of word in English, in this section has two syllables that emphasis. It's mostly placed on the first syllable words. That the example that is the first about a noun. The example, the first is table. The word table and the syllable stress that is table. Table. In the syllables stress in the first of the syllable words. The next is silver. The word is silver, and the syllable stress that is silver. Silver. The stress in the first. The next is princess. The word is princess, and the syllable stress that is princess. Princess. The syllable stress in the first. The next is people. The word people and the word stress that is people. People. And the syllable stress in the first syllable word too. The next is word heaven. The word is heaven, and the syllable stress that is haven. Haven in the first two. The next is in a adjective, and the example is the first perfect. The word is perfect. The syllable stress that is perfect. Perfect. And the stress in the first syllable words. The next is happy, and the word is happy, and the syllable stress that is happy. Happy in the first two. And the next is future. The word is future, and then the syllable stress that is future. Future. The next is word special. The word special. The syllable stress that is special. Special in the first, and the next is ugly. The word syllable stress that is ugly. Ugly in the syllable stress in the first of words. Okay, the next part we must understand. That is point B. The title is two syllables verbs and prepositions. In the sections, it usually needs to describe an event or actions that has pronouncing has ing forms. About 80% stress placed on the second syllable. As for example, that is the first is about verbs. The first example that is appear. Appear. The word is appear. The stress that's in the second that is appear. Appear. That's in the seconds. The seconds of the stress in the seconds of syllable words. The next that is believe, and the syllable stress that is believe. Believe. You can hear it in the second part. The next is word impress. The word impress and the syllable stress that is impress. Impress in the seconds. The next is word promote. The word promote and the syllable stress that is promote. Promote in the seconds. The stress in the seconds of syllables word. The next is become. The syllable stress that is become. become. Okay, the next chapter, that is word which are both a noun and a verb. Okay, English usually has a number of words spelled the same, but is articulated is differently depending on being used a noun or as a verb. If it belongs as to a syllable, the emphasis is placed on the first syllable, and if it includes the verb to functions or as a verb, then the emphasis is on the second syllable. For example, is the first is stress on of syllables non-verb. You will discuss about noun first. The example, that is the first word, that is conduct. The word conduct in the noun, when you spoken, then the noun is conduct, conduct, conduct in the first. The syllable stress in the first. Then in the verb, when we verb, we can say conduct, conduct, conduct in the seconds. In the verb, in the the syllable stress in the second. The next is in the second place. The next is attribute. The word is attribute in the noun. That is attribute, attribute, attribute. That is for the noun. The next for verb, you can say attribute, attribute, attribute in the seconds. The place of stress in the seconds place. The next is a word of come back. The noun is come back, come back. The next for the verb, that is come back, come back in the second place. The next is word of conflict. The word of conflict in the for noun, that the word stress, that is conflict, conflict in the first. The stress place in the verse. For the verb, that is conflict, conflict in the seconds. The syllable stress in the second place. The next is a word of contest. For the noun, that is contest, contest, and for the verb, that is contest, contest in the second place. The next chapter, we must understand that is the three syllables words ending in er, or re. In English, there are also what have three emphases. In simple terms, to different the emphasis. It must be seen to suffix of the word, whatever or not there. If the ending are right, the places is usually placed on the first syllable. And to understand it more clearly, let us consider to the following the example. Okay, the first is words ending er. The word syllables stress placements. Okay, example, that is the first cheerleader, and this from the word cheerleader, and the stress, that is cheerleader, cheerleader in the first. The stress is in the first. The next example, that is word caretaker. The word stress, that is caretaker, caretaker in the first two. The next that is bullfighter. The syllable stress, that is bullfighter, bullfighter in the first syllables. The next is that is broadcaster. The syllable stress, that is broadcaster, broadcaster in the first two. The next word, that is manager. The syllable stress, that is manager, manager. The place of syllable stress in the first. Okay, the next, that is words ending li. Alright, li. No syllable stress placements. Okay, the example, that is the first that is orderly. The stress that is orderly in the first. The next is word of family. The word stress that is in the first, family, family. The next is properly, um, from the word properly, and the word syllable stress that is properly in the first. The next, in the next word that is suddenly, the syllable stress that is suddenly in the first, in the first. The next is a word of commonly. The word that is commonly, the word syllable stress that is commonly in the first again. Okay, the next chapter we must know about what stress. That is words ending in each sounds and sound. Okay, the words that in each sounds and sound are usually stressed in the second part of the syllables to the last. Okay, for the example, the first what endings in each HC, one syllable stress placements. Okay, the example that is electronic. From the word electronic, the what stress that is in the second part, that is electronic. In the seconds, the next word that is scientific, from those scientific. If you spoke with the syllable stress that is scientific in the second part. The next is democratic. The syllable stress that is democratic in the seconds too. The next word that is systematic. This from the word systematic, and the word stress that is systematic in the seconds part, in the second part of the stress placement. Okay, the next example, that is wording words ending in sounds, non syllable stress placements. Okay, the example first, comprehensions. The word is comprehension, and the syllable stress that is comprehension in the second part placement of the syllable stress. The next is word is apprehensions. The syllable stress that is apprehensions in the seconds, the stress that is in the second place. The next is the word of supervisions, and the syllable stress that is supervisions in the seconds. The next that is transfusions. The syllable stress that is transfusions in the second. The syllable stress in the second, you can hear. The next is progressions, from the word progress, and the syllable stress that is progression in the second place. The next about wording in ending in tian, non syllable stress placements. Okay, the example. The first is differentiations. Okay, differentiation from the word differentiation. Okay, the syllable stress that is differentiation. That is in the second. The next is instrumentations. The syllable stress that is instrumentation. That is in the second too. The next is distestifications. And the syllable stress that is dissatisfactions. The next that is word of personifications, from the word personification. The syllable that is personification in the second part. The next word that is experimentations, from the word experimentation. The syllable stress that is experimentation. Experimentation that is in the second place. Okay, the next things we must know about this material, that is words ending in C, T, and P, and G, and the last is AA, AI. The often someone has a mistake in distinguishing emphasis from words that end in C, T, P, G, and AA. Emphasis on these sections is usually placed in the third to the last syllable. As for example, the first is words ending in C, non syllable stress placements. Okay, the first example from this one from word interdependency. The syllable status that is interdependency. In the third part of this word, the next word that is transparency. From the transparency, the syllable that is transparency. In the third, the next is the word incompetency. The syllable stress that is incompetency. Okay, the next that is word of consistency. The word is consistency. The syllable stress that is consistency in the third. You can hear me. The next is the word is bureaucracy. In the syllable stress that is bureaucracy in the third. Okay, the next words ending in T, no word syllable stress placements. Okay, the first example, that is the word I take from word incompatibility. The stress placement that is incompatibility. The stress that is in the third. The next in the next example, that is word instrumentality. The word syllable stress that is instrumentality in the third. The next that is responsibility. The place of the stress that is in the third too, when spoken, that is responsibility in the third. The next is the respectability. The word stress that is the respectability. The next example that is heterogeneity. The word syllable stress that is heterogeneity in the third. The next is a word ending in P, no syllable stress placements. Okay, the example, cinematography. The word stress that is in this third part, that is cinematography. You can hear me in the third. The next that is autobiography. The syllable stress that is autobiography in the third. You can hear me. The next that is bibliography. Okay, you hear me. Bibliography. That is in the third. The next that is what is oceanography. The word syllable stress that is in the third placement of the word, that is oceanography. That is in the third. The next is photography. The word syllable stress in photography. You can hear me. Photography. The next that is what ending in key, no one syllable stress placements. Okay, the first that is biotechnology. The word stress placement that is biotechnology. The place of the stress that is in the third. Next is pneumonology. The word stress, that's phenomenology. Phenomenology in the third of the part of the syllables. The next with anthropology. The word anthropology, the stress in the third too. We can speak that is anthropology. Anthropology, that is in the third. The next in methodology. Methodology, and stress in the third too. When you spoke that is methodology. Methodology is very clear in dog the third, you can hear me. The next terminology, the word of terminology and stress in the third, that is terminology. Terminology, knowledge, you can hear me in the third, knowledge. That is for the about in what's ending in G. Okay, the next that is what's ending in AL, and what's syllable stress placements. Okay, the first example, that is pharmaceutical. Pharmaceutical. Okay, the stress placement in the third two, pharmaceutical. Pharmaceutical, that is in the third. The next example, that is the word constitutional. Constitutional. The word stress in the constitutional. That is in the third part. That is the part. The next is conversations. Conversational. The word stress, that is conversational. In the third. The next word is international. The syllable stress, that is international. In the third. The next is technological. In the word, that is technological. That is the stress placement for the word ending in AO. Okay, the next part we must know, that is compound nouns made by two nouns. In English, native English speakers frequently use compound noun words when they talk. A compound word is a combination of two or more words which indicates a single unit of meaning and refer to the people, animals, place, things or idea. A noun and a bus stop. Adjective and a noun. A full noun. And the example, that is the first was stress in solid compound. In the solid compound nouns, no compound noun stress placements. The first that is notebook. The stress in the first, notebook. The next, that is bookstore. The stress placement, that is in the first two. The syllable sound, that is bookstore. A bookstore. You can hear me, book in the first. The next word, that is Superman. In the first, Superman. The next that is waistcoat. You can hear me, waistcoat in the first. The next fireman. The stress in the first two, that is fireman. Okay, the next was stress in hyphenated compound nouns, compound nouns stress placements. Okay, the first example, that is vice president. The word stress in the first chapter, that is vice president in the first. You can hear me. The next, that is a word or scholar put school. The word stress, that is scholar put in the first. The next is the word students, athlete students. Student the word stress in the second, athlete students. The next is sister-in-law. The stress, that is in the first, sister-in-law. The next is grace fire. ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire. The stress that's ceasefire, ceasefire in the first. The next is war stress in open compound. That is football player, football player. The stress is in the first football player, football player, foot. The next that is cardio, 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 car. You can have me car in the first. The next that is firefighter, firefighter, fire. The word fire in the first stress of the syllable words. The next is smoke detector, smoke detector. The stress in the first smoke detector, smoke detector. Okay, the next that is grammar book, grammar book. The word stress that is grammar book, grammar book, grammar in the first. Okay, the last thing we must know about this material, that is compound adjective and verbs. In spoken English, native English speaker occasionally use words of compound adjective, and compound adjective is formed when two or more adjectives are measured together, and to give the child information to some known e.g. well, clown teacher. The example that is okay. The first word stress in open compound adjective, no word stress placements. The first that is absent-minded, absent-minded. The word stress in the seconds, right? Absent-minded, absent-minded, absent-minded. You can have mean in the second. The next that is a word low-spirited, low-spirited. The word stress that is low-spirited, low-spirited in the seconds. The next that is dark green, dark green, dark green, dark green in the second. The next is easygoing, easygoing, going in the second. The next is skin deep, skin deep, skin deep, deep. The word deep in the seconds. You can hear me. The next that is word stress in propositional verbs. No word stress placements. The first chapter example that is look after, look after, look after. The stress in the seconds. Look after, a. The word a, this very. You can hear me. The stress in this first. The next word that is pick on, pick on, pick on. The stress in the second. Pick on, on. You can hear me. On. The next that is turn away, turn away, turn away, turn away. The way, what way in the seconds, that is the stress. The next word that is come in, come in, come in. In, what in the second, come in. You can hear me. In. That's the test, the stress in the second chapter. Okay, the next that is take off, take off, take off. What earth in the seconds? Take off, take off. In the seconds again. Okay, the next the last things with this word stress in phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs, no word stress placements. Okay, the first daydream, daydream, daydream. The word stress in the seconds again. Daydream, daydream, daydream. The next is sight read, sight read, sight read, or read in the seconds. The next sunproof, 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 proof. The next that is air conditioner, air condition. You can hear me. Air condition, in the seconds. And the next that is babysitter, baby sit, baby sit, sit. The sits, what sits in the seconds? Baby sit, sit. Okay, I think so for my discussions today about the general rules about word stress. I'm very apologize with our mistake, and thank you very much to watching. And I'm M.Reski Novardana. Say Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.